Hi again, everyone. I'm Samantha May, and welcome back to another episode of Reality Talks. In today's episode, I'd like to discuss a topic that actually got a lot of attention a few months ago. It trended for a while across multiple social media platforms, but I personally don't see too many people continuing to talk about it, in my community at least. To any listeners who don't do too well with sensitive topics, just know that today's episode centers around the topic of sexual harassment. Now that we've established that, today I'm going to talk about a specific number known as the 97% statistic. If you're wondering what this number means, it's the number of women who face sexual harassment at some point in their lives. This statistic comes from a YouGov survey commissioned in January by UN Women UK, a United Nations entity. While it only represents the experiences of 1,000 women ages 18 to 24 in the United Kingdom, the data can be applied universally because of how prominent rape culture is everywhere. Unfortunately, as dramatic as it seems, it makes sense once you start to understand what falls under the umbrella of sexual harassment. While sexual harassment can take the form of rape and assault, it can also include groping, drugging, catcalling, stalking, forcing or begging someone to send explicit photos, sending unsolicited explicit photos, shaming someone for sexual promiscuity, and more. I can assure any of you listening, if you do not have a story yourself, any woman you know most definitely will. As a matter of fact, once the statistic blew up on the social media platform TikTok, a lot of women realized for the first time that what they've experienced was sexual harassment. To make matters worse, researchers actually believe this number has grown now to be 98%. But how could a number reach so high? It's important to understand that this cycle of sexual harassment and misogyny is rooted in rape culture, which is a system enforced by the patriarchy that allows for the danger women face to thrive. It is built on a series of aggressions that begin seemingly insignificant and grow into acts as horrific as rape. Think of it like a pyramid. At the bottom of that pyramid are acts of misogyny such as dress codes that target schoolgirls. Going up that pyramid, you'll see the bullying of teenage girls over innocent interests, catcalling, and lack of sex education. The further up you climb, you'll see more violent and aggressive acts such as abuse and groping. At the very top, you'll have acts of rape that are validated every day by the previous pyramid levels our society continues to enable and enforce. When I first came across the 97% statistic, I was both unsurprised and extremely terrified. When my friends and I discussed it together and did our own research, we found out that none of us fell in the 3%. On top of our fear, we also held anger for the men who were not taking the data seriously. It was frustrating to open social media every day and see jokes being made about rape and watching people try to disprove the information. So many men were quick to try and call the statistic false, but instead of making sense, they only seemed even more guilty. It's sad that many women continue to get gaslighted into thinking their trauma is not valid because of people like that who try to dismiss them right off the bat. To change this troubling statistic, we must dismantle rape culture. To dismantle rape culture, we must dismantle patriarchy. It takes everyone to recognize how they contribute to misogyny in order to fix it. I also want to make it clear that your activism and feminism should be intersectional. Instead of centering it around cisgendered heterosexual white women, you must include trans women, LGBTQ+ women, and BIPOC women. Those who don't identify as women but are affected by misogyny through being assigned female at birth should also be recognized in this discussion. Sexual harassment is a danger to everyone in society. Even though this episode of my podcast focuses on women, some men will be able to relate. In fact, the trauma that these men experience is a direct result of misogynistic patriarchy as well. In order to fight for these men, we must fight for everyone. With that, I am concluding today's podcast, which is also my last podcast of this year. This is Samantha May signing off, and I hope you all have a great summer. Bye!